Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits.
And I'm Callie, also known as Cowsters.
And today is Sunday, September 6th, 2015. This is episode 223. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more week. And if you're new, hopefully you enjoyed today's show and you'll come back in the future. So, how have you all been this week? This is what, week 3 in a row? Two.
Three. No,
three.
it's three.
It's 3.
It's three.
3 weeks she's been here in a row now.
Yes.
But as I'm going to talk about later, next month that's that good news is just going to hit the fan because on my end because
it's kicking me off.
No, because I'm going to be really busy next month on my weekends, but I'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. So let's do a quick week in review. For myself, I had another full week of work, but wait. We actually got out of work a half day early on Friday due to heat. My school does have air conditioning, although this year they've locked us out of our thermostats, so you wouldn't be able to tell that we have air conditioning, because they say they set it at 74, which it's usually 75.7 to 64, or 76.4, somewhere in there, is usually where my room is. Plus then you add in 30 kids in a smaller classroom than I had last year, with more windows. My whole outside wall is windows. They added a lot of windows when they remodeled our school, which they say they do things where they have things on the windows that bring in more light during the day, so you use less light in the classroom. Like the lights are supposed to adjust and all this stuff. It's high tech. It's real fancy, but it's hot. Let me just put it out there. It is hot in those classrooms. My kids usually complain that my classroom is too cold, and this year, every time they come in, it's like, it's hot and it smells, because 30 teenagers in a hot room. And I have a lot of kids that come right from gym to my class. Anyway, so, but due to the fact that our elementary schools do not have air conditioning, and the heat index and everything on Friday, they called school only after 3 hours of instruction. So it's kind of nice. We went through all of our classes but only had a half hour each. And the reason why they let the high schools go is because, well, one, you can't release just part of the district, and two, a lot of our students need to be home in order to watch the elementary school students if they have younger siblings, so parents don't have to take off of work and things of that nature. So that was that. We're watching my mom's dog this weekend. She had to go back up to her house that she is selling to do a little bit of work there with my sister this weekend, so that's been that. Andy convinced me to go running yesterday, so he's doing the Couch to 5K, and he was in week 3, and he convinced me to go. He's like, I'll go back to week 1 with you, but I made it through it, so I don't know. I'm like, this doesn't mean I'm picking this up, but I made it through it. It was fine. It's just, I like to spend time with them, so rather than just, sitting on the couch watching TV time together, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's pretty much about it. It's not been a very exciting week, just very busy. I work all day and I come home and I work, and I haven't had much crafting time, but I do have things to show. I have a lot of show notes this week, so let's keep going on, and I'll let Callie tell you about her week.
My week has been pretty busy as per usual. This coming week we're going to be gone for an all-team meeting at the state 4-H office, and that will be fun, exciting, and fun.
Fun, exciting, and fun. Show title.
I don't know, for me it's going to be really busy because tomorrow we have off an observation of Labor Day. Tuesday I've got meetings that I'm not real looking forward to. Wednesday we have all team. Thursday we have all team. Friday I have a day full of meetings. And Saturday I have my leadership program, so somewhere in there I need to take a full day off in hours for my leadership training because it counts as work. So
yeah, I didn't get that. She told me that last week, that because she's doing it through her job, her leadership training, that when she's in attendance there,
it actually counts as work hours. So It's really nice. I'm not going to hate on it.
It's nice that you get paid to be there.
Yeah,
so
it is.
And they're paying for you to go there, so
yeah,
it's kind of double.
And there's no stipulation, so if I leave this job, I don't have to make it up somewhere. So,
she hasn't thought about that.
We'll see. But, so I'm going to be really busy next week. But this week we were really busy in anticipation of basically being out of the office all next week. Because the budget is still yet to be passed, and therefore we still have plans of work to submit to the state, which are due by October 1. So we get to plan our plan of work, and basically with no budget. So that's basically what my Tuesday meeting is going to be all for. So yay for first thing coming back. So so much. So anyways, but thank you again all for the sweet messages you've been sending me and posting in the threads. It's going to get better. I know it will. And we've got a great team, so that's what's important. That's all I got to say about that.
All right, so what's taking you about this week? I've got some finished objects. One thing I finished last week, but I hadn't woven in the ends and I hadn't blocked it, so I was like, it's not really finished because I want to show it to you again. So I just posted to Instagram, actually, some modeled shots that I took on our new mannequin we got for the booth. So it lives in our living room, so I just kind of keep it there and take pictures.
It's just the drunk girl in the corner.
Kind of. She was. It's funny because before you got here, I was turning her around with one hand. She's very light. She's a cheap mannequin, but she's she's very nice, but she's cheap, and she's light. So I was trying to like turn her around, and she was wobbling, and I was like, "Hey, drunk girl, get your stuff together," because I talk to inanimate objects when no one's here all the time. It's sad. Oh, I'm getting a little blown out by the sun. I should have closed the shades. It was looking all right before. Anyway, I finished the Malted Milk Shawl by Kate Jackson using local alpaca, mill spun to a worsted weight in cream, brown, and Poseidon. And it is done. It's been blocked. I texted pictures to the alpaca farmer right before we sat down to record, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, delicious!" I never knew anybody would call a shawl delicious, but so I think she's going to come by and pick it up Wednesday, so that'll be off my hands and out of the craft room, so I'm really excited about that. That is done and done. That was a quick, enjoyable knit. Speaking of quick knits, I finished a second thing, and a little bit of backstory before I show this to you. I was given some yarn to review at Stitches from a lovely lady who does some PR for Shalimar Yarns. She does PR for several different companies, including Stitches and Cooperative Press. We've had the pleasure of email communication with her due to Cooperative Press, but I had the pleasure of meeting her. And the last day of Stitches, she was like, "Hey, do you want to review some yarn?" I said, "Absolutely." So she brought over a new base from Shalimar Yarns called Breathless Cush. It is I think they classify it as a chunky weight. I'd say it's more of a bulky. It's 75% superwash merino, 15% cashmere, 10% silk, 145 yards. It is machine or hand wash, lay flat to dry. So they gave us 2 skeins, and one I got to choose, and this was the colorway I chose, which is called Neptune. And as you can see, I've used the majority of it. I used about 75 grams. It's 115 grams to the skein. And I knew I didn't want to wait forever to review it, so I had found this pattern, and I knew it was going to be super quick because it is a bulky weight. So I started this at 11 p.m. Friday night, worked on it for about 45 minutes, and then worked on it for maybe another, just under 2 hours Saturday morning, and finished it. I haven't washed or blocked it, but it's garter stitched, so I don't think it will need to be washed or blocked. This is called Brightside by Laura Ayler. Again, I used the Shalimar Yarns Breathless Cush in Neptune on size 11 US 8 millimeters, and I really like it. So it's kind of a cowled jabot dicky, if you will. And if you can see, it's got this angled portion, and then it goes, I'll show you the back, it goes just straight around, and then you button it. You can put on a button, and then when you put it on, you put the dicky part in front to go into your coat, and you flip it over. And I did mine in a solid color, but it's actually designed where you can stripe it, or put in two different colors, a contrast color in the back portion and over. So I'm really pleased with it. It's super nice. It was really easy to just kind of measure till it fits around your neck, give yourself another inch or two, a couple more rows, and wham bam, thank you ma'am. So I liked it a lot, and you could, of course, wear it a little more up and be a little more trendsetter if you want to be. I mean, if you want to cover the back of your neck, actually that's really nice, because it would, in the wintertime, the hat and the back would meet. And I think I could pull it off. Can you? No?
I like the functionality of it because I'm really practical in my garments for Midwest winters.
And as you can see, it's not a lot of bulk in the back. So it's very thin, and when it folds over, in fact, you have very little in the back. And I was thinking, though, too, you could also flip it. It's not made for this way, but I thought that actually this was the way it was made, where you put the longer triangle over. So if you just kind of wanted the cowl piece, you could do that, and just flip that over. So I liked it. So let me review the yarn for you really quickly. It is very, very nice yarn. I liked it a lot. It is very soft. I'll let Callie feel it when she wants.
Yes.
It is very soft. It's got that 15% cashmere and 10% silk. Due to the silk content, however, which is funny because I hear, you would think silk is very slick on metal needles. I used Addi needles, I believe. It did not have the squeak or the feel of acrylic yarn, but it had getting the yarn onto the needle, the actual needle from the cord, and going across the needle. It almost had that kind of acrylic yarn feel where it had some drag on the needle. That's just being very minute. That's just, me being honest with you and try to give you a review. You may not have that same reaction to the yarn, but I do have to say that if you want, especially for winter knitting, and gift knitting and things like that, if you want some very luxurious yarn, you want to give somebody a gift that really feels nice, that you put some thought and some luxury into it, but you want it to go wham bam, thank you ma'am, on to the next gift knitting item, I highly recommend this. Especially because there's not a lot of hand dyers that verge into Aran bulky, chunky yarns, because when you're paying for a hand-dyed skein, you don't usually want it to go so quickly. You want to enjoy it. So there's not a whole lot of hand dyers. I mean, we've thought about it, but we have not pulled the trigger on going to a heavier weight yarn. So I highly recommend this. Give Shalimar Yarns a looky-loo on their website. I will link it in our show notes. Thank you. dramaticknits.com. And also, I did start following them on Instagram. They only have about 400 and some followers, so definitely give them a check out. I've heard of them before, so I was surprised. Maybe they're just starting on Instagram or whatnot, but I was surprised by the small following on there, so definitely check them out on Instagram. I don't think they post a whole lot, so maybe that's part of it too. But yeah, so enjoyed that, enjoyed the yarn, enjoyed the finished product. In fact, I gave Callie the pattern because I was done with it, and so I think she's going to make one for this winter. Okay. Speaking of the yarn, we do have a skein to give away. I almost knit this one, but then I was like, teal, me. This one is the Breathless Kush again in the black truffle colorway. So we are going to give this one away. We are going to do a contest for this week into next week. And I am going to throw in the extra 40 grams or 50 yards of the Neptune, so that if you want to make this exact cowl, you could do the triangular portion in the gray and do the strip of fabric in the back into the teal, which is how it was designed, was 2 colors. So I'm going to include both of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask that you go to their shop, and I would assume that they have a colorway card up there, or just tell us what colorway you're drooling over and lusting after of Shalimar Yarns. So that will run until next Sunday, and we will pull for a winner there. You must be a member of the group, only 1 entry per person, please, and yeah, so that's that. All right, that's all that I finished.
I haven't finished anything, but I'm going to go first and work some projects.
Thank you.
Mostly because I'm not a great stopping point. I'm working on the Hitafude, and I am using Soliloquy by Leading Men Fiber Arts in the Raspberry Parfait colorway. I always want to say Raspberry Fizz. So, that's what it... I have not finished the first repeat. Actually, I was telling Steve the last time that I showed this, shortly after recording, I ripped it out because I thought I was off a stitch. In reality, I don't think I was, but I didn't like how it looked. So I ripped it out and I cast back on. So you can kind of start to see some of the pattern showing up. So far it's going really well and I like it. If I were to do this pattern again, or in my show notes, or my project notes, I would put that I would not use the crochet method that they tell you in the pattern, where it's just chain X amount of stitches for your size, and then cast on through the back loop of it, or the loop on it. I did not like that method. I really prefer the crochet cast on method.
So over the needle?
Yeah. To me, it makes more sense. I have a lot more control over it, and it just worked better for me. So that's what I would say my only modification is thus far. But it's going really well. The pattern's really easy to read thus far, so I don't have any problems with it. And it's the Hitafude cardigan, and I'm not even going to try to say the designer's name, mostly because I don't know how to pronounce it, and you've seen this cardigan about 8 billion other times if you follow any other podcast. So I'm just keeping it real.
Is that all you're working on this week?
Yes.
All right. So, what am I working on? What am I not working on? That's one of the questions. Let's start off first with my Portage sweater by Melissa Shashwari. I'm using Elizabeth the Bold Silky Wool in color number 65, which is known as Spruce. And I'm using size 7, 6, and 5, I think. I've only been using a 7 so far, which is a 4.5, 4, and 3.75 millimeters. And got a little bit of work on it. And rows just take a while. So I think I've done one more increase. I have to increase like every 14 rows. And you can kind of see it in the... There's like a row that's really weird here after the splitting off of the sleeves, but I'm hoping it'll block out and no one will notice it. But now it's bothering me. But just that little bit is all I got done this week. Again, I've been very busy. I come home and it's like... I just work until about 9:30, and then I'm like, okay, I give myself about a half hour, an hour's worth of knitting time before I go to bed. And I have worked in this school year because they shifted our school, our schedule and our start and end time, so that we're actually 15 or 20 minutes later than we were all my previous years of teaching. So I actually get up at the same time that I have always gotten up, and I take about 15-20 minutes, and I enjoy a little bit of coffee and knit for a few minutes in the morning. The second thing I'm working on is Polyphony by Sarah Berghart Abram. I'm using Leading Men Fiber Arts Show Stealer in Copper Cloud, Midnight Rendezvous, and Eternal Kiss. on a size, I don't know, 5? 5 US, 3.75 millimeters. It's growing. It's a little bit. So, I'd say I did maybe almost double what I had. Maybe not. Maybe half of what I had. But, so this is the center panel that's all lace, and then it'll be garter stitch around the whole thing. It's quite beautiful. A beautiful pattern. I'm sorry, what?
I said, yes, it is.
The next thing I'm working on is the Geology Shawl by Very Busy Monkey. I'm using Madeline Tosh Merino Light in the Fog colorway, and that's on a size 6 US 4 millimeters. So I worked on this a little bit. I got through a lace portion. You can see there I'd done the seed stitch last week, and I got through a lace portion. So it'll only take me 7 weeks to get through this if I knit a section every week, but you know, the rows get longer. So that's going. It's the first time, as I was saying with this pattern, excuse me. Oh. It's the first time it has charted and written instructions, but it's the first time I'm using written instructions where there's 3 sections to the shawl, the 2 sides, and the center, and they actually have it in 3 different columns where you follow the pattern repeat for, you know, this section, then the middle, then the side section. So I kind of like that, actually. Alright, the next thing I started this morning, just a little bit ago. What bag it is in? It's in this one. I got 2 my bags.
Remember when Steve said, I don't really need any project bags. I don't see a use for them.
I don't, but I'm trying to use them since I have so many. I'm spoiled with project bags now. I started the Mix It Up by Jana Huck. I'm using local alpaca fingering weight in a natural colorway and dyed the other skeins to the blue steel colorway. And I'm using a size 3 US 3.25 millimeter, and you can see the start of it here. Very interesting. First of all, it calls for a the alpaca farmer's texting me, and I think she said something about a new yarn store coming to Bloomington, Illinois. Anyway, first of all, it calls for a 2.5. I did not have a 2.5, let alone I don't think that this is going to fit this shawl very long. We'll see. I don't know. It says it's over 100 inches long. It's going to be very, very long. And I've got a lot of yarn, so I can keep going. I've got way more yarn than I need. The second thing is it's very interesting because you're working from one side and you do a couple rows, and then you push all your needles to the other, or all your stitches to the other side, and then work with the other color. So, and it's done with wraps and turns. You're not doing intarsia. It's very interesting. But I thought it was going to be harder than what it was, but I think I've got the rhythm of it now. So I'm not a huge fan of the way this edge is looking. It's almost ripply, but I mean, if you go into it accepting that, because you're casting on 3 every right side, but you're doing a cable cast on, which is just where you knit into the stitch and throw it back on the needle. And so it almost gives this kind of jaggedy tooth effect. But again, if you block it out, it's not going to be as noticeable, but so that's that. Last thing I'm working on are the A River Runs Through It socks. I'm working on these at work. I'm using Lollipop Yarns Tradition in A River Runs Through It colorway on size 1.5 US, 2.5 millimeters. I did finish turning the heel, and I've got one more decrease before I'm done decreasing the gusset. I just did a traditional stockinette heel flap. I'm not really happy with the bottom of, I mean, I've done how many stocks, but I'm not really.
It's interesting.
It looks very thin. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See there?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, sometimes it can be thin picking up gusset stitches, even though I pick up through both bars.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever pick up through just one,
Mm-hmm.
because if you pick up through one, you're, especially in a sock, you're going to run into that wearing out very quickly. I always pick up through both strands. This is the way I was taught when I was taught to pick up stitches. But it's my decreases and stuff like that. It just seems kind of thin. So I don't know. I might have to go back through and kind of weave some yarn in and kind of just add some more stability down there. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm working on. So I'll be working my way out the foot this week while I'm at work, if I have any time. I was telling Callie I didn't get much time to work on these at work because students started to turn in assignments and I had to grade them. So.
Stupid work.
Overrated. So that's that. All right. In rehearsal, do you have anything?
I'm thinking about casting on a shawl, and Steve let me borrow his book, can't think of the name. We reviewed it on the show, but it's the crescent shaped, not crescent shaped.
Curls?
Yes. It's a pattern out of there. So I'm thinking about doing that because I'm trying to reorganize my room and everything, and the yarn that I put aside for it is on top of a particular pile, and I just go, yeah, I want to cast that on. That'd be real nice. So that may be something, but it may not be. So that's all that I have in rehearsal. You?
Nothing. I've got a lot of long-term projects on the needles.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you kind of do.
I got a lot of very lengthy shawls and a sweater. So, yeah. Behind the scenes, my spinning. I did finish some spinning. I finished the Yarn Geek Fibers BFL Sparkle in the Sonic Sunset colorway. And in fact, I even listed it up in the shop last night, so it is available up at ladymanfiberarts.bigcartel.com. And trying to get the tag on the right side. Here it is. It came out to 342 yards of a fingering weight. This was 2-plied fractal spun. Very fun. It's got reds and golds and blues and greens and a little bit of white here and there. So, done and done. So that was nice to get that done. So I did start the next commission spinning Into the World BFL in the Don't Blink colorway. Here's the second 2 ounces. You can see it's got purples and aquas and grays and silver. And I have this much left of the first 2 ounces left to go. I'm going to do a 2-ply fractal spin on this as well. So that's it on my spinning. In the spotlight, what are we watching and reading? I am watching Once Upon a Time. I think I am very close, if not on the season finale of season 1. Watched a little bit of that this morning and yesterday. Caught up on The Strain. There shouldn't be too many more episodes in season 2. Just sticking with it for the storyline again. I'll be interested to see if they come back with the 3rd season, if it gets picked up. And I'm reading The Good, the Bad, and the Undead by Kim Harrison. I enjoyed the narrator. She does voices very well. I can pick up on the characters because there's a lot of scenes with multiple characters. I think she reads very fast, though. And there's a lot going on in backstory and stuff, and I know this is book 2 in the whole series of things, so there's probably a lot that was laid out for you in book 1. But I also feel like a good book series, you should be able to pick up any book and be able to at least follow the story for the most part, you know what I mean? But this is a completely different world, so than our own. And I mean, they go back and give some backstory to catch you up in a few things, but there's also times where if I get distracted reading an email or whatever, like I'm like, what just happened? And I totally zone out and don't listen to it. So it's not like I'm engrossed in the story. It's just very much in the background for me while I'm spinning for the most part. So I can take it or leave it. But like I said, I know it's a huge series with a lot of books in it. It's very popular, so that's all for me.
I have been watching Big Brother. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Thursday's episode, Meg and Jason both went, or Meg and James both went home. So basically, all the remaining cast that I was super excited about, hoping that they'd push through to the final two, didn't happen. And so everybody else in the house, I don't care. I really don't care at this point. The only person that I could possibly want to win is Steve, and that's because he's too adorable and dorky, and he's a super fan, and he's still in college, and I'd love to see him win it, so that way he can finish college and basically be debt-free. But everybody else, don't care. Don't care at all. And I'm really disappointed with this season. So if Vanessa wins, good for her. She played a pretty craptastic game where she threw everybody under the bus and was behind every eviction, so good for her if she can live with that. But don't care. Really don't. But as far as what I'm reading, I finished the first Harry Potter. This is like the 5th time I've read it. But reading goals. So now I'm on book 2. So from now until whenever I get finished, my main focus is going to be rereading the series. I've actually not read books 6 or 7 yet, so that will be good for me. The last one I stopped at 5, just because there was such a huge wait time between 5 and 6, and by that point I was just kind of like, I don't know if I can be ready to finish it. So I'm at a point where I know what happens, but it'd be nice to get the book version of it instead of just the movies. Mm-hmm. So that's what I am reading.
Cool. Alright, stash enhancement. So
I have none.
I was a bit of a bad boy, but I had spousal permission. Not happy about it, but backstory is the place where we buy our fiber also sells yarn. They gave me a 20% off your order coupon code for my birthday, so we're like, ooh, we're going to stock up on a whole bunch of fiber. And then, Andy's like, well, you can buy a skein of yarn if you're going to get 20% off.
A skein.
A skein. Well, this place sells Madeline Tosh, and I like to, stock up on my Tosh Merino Light, because, right? Why not have a stash of it? I hate to admit it, and some people don't think they're small hand dyers anymore. I mean, I believe it's hand dyed. There is nobody, myself included, who can achieve the color sense that Madeline Tosh can. I just hate to say it. So, doesn't mean don't buy Lady Men fiber. So,
disclaimer.
So I may have purchased 6 skeins. 3 to do something with a 3 color, and then, some additional ones. And I was like, I got so many grays and blues. Well, 5 of them are gray and blue. Because I already had a lot of gray, blue, green from a previous explosion order of Madeline Tosh Merino Light. So anyway, let me show you what I bought. So the 3 that I originally had picked up to go together, one just stuck out as not working for me. They were too close together. So I wanted like 3 different grays. And so I had picked up Stovepipe, which is a very dark charcoaly gray. And then I really love this one, Moonstone. And so I was like, yes, I see that. And then I had picked up this one, which is called El Greco. And it's too similar to Stovepipe. And it has it's very hard to see unless you're in the light, but it's almost like shots of dark blue and purple going through it. But it did not balance well with this one. And again, you're seeing this in full sunlight because of the window. But when you put these 2 together, they're too similar to do something with 3 colors.
Yeah.
So, I took out the El Greco and I kept the Stovepipe and the Moonstone. And I went out on a limb and bought something that I would never buy normally because I knew I wanted something as a contrast color. I've worked with the Edison bulb. I've worked with the button jar blue. I have a little bit of that left over, but I wanted something different. I did not get any of the other neon colors, partly because they were out, but I did pick up this one called Torchère. So it is not that neon. It's, again, not one of the neon colors, but it is a pink with red and orange hues in it. So I actually picked out a Josh Ricks pattern, sort of a knitter, that I'm going to do. I coordinated the yarn with patterns this afternoon before we recorded, and I picked a Josh Ricks pattern for all 3 of these. So I have those 3. I have the El Greco. There's 4. And then the other 2 are blues, and I'm going to save the best for last. This one's really nice. This is called Odyssey, which I did not. This actually wasn't even in their colorway. You know how when you can start to type in a colorway, if other people have stashed it, it was up. But this actually wasn't even in their colorway listing for Tosh Merino Light, so I'm not sure. But some blues and purples and grays. Very, very nice. And the last one I'm kind of in love with. Even my leading man was like, oh, that's nice. This one's called Stargazing. And it just glows off of the skein.
That's beautiful.
So it's those blues, but it's got shots of turquoise and a really dark green and purples, and it's just lovely. So I got that. 6 skeins, you know.
You don't know.
With the 20% off, is like getting one for free. So
Very cool.
that's my stash enhancement this week. Alright, we have another review. We did a yarn review. We have another review we're going to do for you, and it is for a brand new company.
It is.
That it was opened by one of our friends. And it is called Keep On With Life, the No Touch Solid Lotion Stick. And she has these sizes. And she just got full bars that almost look like deodorant stick cases is actually what they're put into. But this the proprietress of this company is Melissa Transtrom, and she is the hostess of the Mel Trans Design podcast and of course Designs on Ravelry, which are awesome. I'm going to cover up her phone number and address even though it's on here, just so it doesn't go out to the masses, but here is her card. And you can find her at keeponwithlife.bigcartel.com. And so she asked us if we'd be interested in reviewing these, and she has a couple different scents out right now. I think she has peppermint, lavender, orange, and unscented. And we both selected orange.
I didn't know you did too.
I didn't tell her. I was like, what do you want? Not a huge fan of peppermint stuff, and I do not like lavender. And what was the other one? And that's it, right? And the orange. So I think she may come up with other things. We'll see. But basically you open it, and it's almost like a big chapstick. That's what it reminds me of. It is all natural. It tells you what is in it. It is beeswax, shea butter, cocoa butter, almond and coconut oil, and essential oils, except, of course, unscented has no essential oil. And basically what you do is you roll it up, and you roll it on, and you rub your hands together, and you go on with your day. And so it's not greasy, it's not sticky. I like to take it, I rub it over all my fingers, both sides. Kelly does it a little bit differently from the way I was watching. But, and then I'll do it over both hands, and I rub it together.
I like, one, I love citrus scented anything, so I was really happy to see orange on there because a lot of people do like a lime or kind of a lemon, which I love, but it was nice to be able to pick an orange because to me it smells like childhood because I loved orange sherbet. Still do as an adult. But I really like it. There's tons of different things on the market that are kind of similar to this, but what I like about Mel's is that, so you rub it on, and I think a lot of other companies, it takes a really long time for it to absorb, and this is not so much. It's just like a few seconds, move on with your day. Whereas like other different companies that I've tried, because I hate the feeling of greasy lotion on my hands. So I've gone through a lot of different testing, for different products. And I really like this. So kudos to Mel. This is a great product that you've got. I think you guys should give it a shot. Again, if you're one of those like me, hate the greasy lotion, want a quick gratification, few seconds, move about your day, good.
And the other thing is, when I first put it on, I was like, I don't know, I saw a sheen, and I was like, well, maybe it is a little greasy, but it's not. The best way to describe it is it's almost like, because of the beeswax, it's almost like you put a very thin layer of wax in your hands. And if you've ever, like, I don't know if you were a kid and you had like candle wax or whatever, you put it on your hands and you take it off. It almost feels like that, like when you take wax off of your hands. And I used this a lot yesterday while I was dyeing, in between knitting and dyeing. There was nothing that got on my knitting other than a great orange smell. And because of that beeswax, my hands are constantly in water, so keep that in mind. But it was almost like the first time or two I put it in water, the water would almost just roll away from your hands because of the beeswax. So if you do a lot of things in water and things like that, this is going to be a great lifesaver for me in the wintertime, because my hands, I have bad issues with my hands with eczema and stuff, and in the wintertime my hands get cracked and dry and things of that nature. So I'm really excited to see how well this holds up over the wintertime, but I wanted to make sure that we told you about this product so that you can be in on the ground floor of purchasing from her shop.
You know what, the other thing that I wanted to mention too, all of the ingredients that Mel has used on this product, beeswax, shea butter, cocoa butter, almond and coconut oil, and essential oils, those are all things that like, it's not weird parabens, it's not weird stuff that causes cancer, it's all things The only downside might be if you're allergic to almond or coconut, and that's it. But you know that if you are allergic to those kind of things, that your beauty supplies are going to be a little bit harder to accommodate your allergies or skin differences. But this is a really great product. I am super stoked about this. So Mel, you got a great product. Everyone, I think, definitely give her a try.
Again, you can find her at keeponwithlife.bigcartel.com. I think she's got a great premise behind this and everything. And I was going to say you could even potentially probably use this as chapstick, because it's all the same stuff in chapstick. However, after looking at this, I'm like, you probably don't want to put it all over your hands and then put it all over your mouth.
But if you wanted to get two and designate one.
If you got some big old lips, because again, this is, she showed on her latest podcast the comparison to a normal chapstick, which is probably, about that tall. And of course thinner. So that's that.
Definitely give her a shot.
So thank you, Mel, for sending that for us to
Thank
review.
you.
I will be purchasing more in the future.
You know it.
All right, let's move into a round of applause. First off, we want to tell you about an awesome coupon code that we have to Bags by Awesome Granny. And we have a 10% off coupon code good until the end of the month, September 30th. Use the coupon code DRAMATICKNITS10 and you will get 10% off your order when you check out. So thank you so much. Bags by Awesome Granny. We have our sweater knit along going on right now.
Yes. So the sweater knit along officially began on July 1. So your sweater must have been started on July 1 or after. It is running until October 31st at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. We might give you a few extra hours if I'm not feeling joyous enough to stay up that late. I have work the next day, actually.
Basically, when we get up in the morning,
Yeah.
whoever gets to it first will shut the thread down.
Yep. So, we have fantastic prizes. Steve is donating
Corn Dog's being totally adorable underneath the desk.
Steve has...
He's having dreams. He's running in his dreams. Sorry.
You good?
Yeah, it's just so cute.
Has donated a sweaters quantity from Wadingman Fiber Arts in the colorway of your choice. and I am donating a sweaters quantity as well. And it is not from Leading Men Fiber Arts, but it's a sweaters quantity. We will donate prizes for every 50 that we get, 50 entries. You can submit your entry once if you use any yarn. You can submit it twice if you use any skein or skeins of you can submit it twice. You're going back and forth, and I was like, what's going on?
I'm trying to check to see how many entries we had in the Sweater Knit Along, and we only have 36. Mm-hmm. So we've got 2 prizes.
Yep. So if you use any base of Leading Men Fiber Arts, then you will be able to enter it twice. 1 for doing the sweater, and 2 for using any base of Leading Men Fiber Arts. It has to be an adult sweater. It does have to be classified on Ravelry as pullover, cardigan, sweater. As such, no vest, no, y'all can read.
Somebody did ask the question this week if they're designing their own sweater. Will that count since it's not technically on Ravelry or classified as a sweater? Yes, as long as it has sleeves.
Yep.
So the picture she posted looks like a beautiful sweater, and I'm sure a lot of people will want to knit it when she publishes the pattern. So.
Yep. So that is our sweater cal. If you have any questions, PM me or post on the boards. I'm sorry I have not looked at the boards this week, so that is my faux pas. But, yes.
August has come to a close. So our August 2015 Race to the Finished Object contest has come to a close as well. We did draw for prizes before sitting down to record. Our first prize is a large project bag set from the Silver Shed. No, not the Silver Shed. I'm sorry. So used to say in the Silver Shed. From Bags by Awesome Granny. And we just talked about her. So you get a large project bag set. It comes with, I've showed you the one that I got sent for review, a large project bag plus a Notions pouch. And you get to choose whatever pattern you would like, fabric you would like. So if you win, please get in contact with me letting me know that you won. And I will then get in contact with Bags by Awesome Granny, and she will then contact you to work out the details because she's going to ship directly to you. So the winner was
number 65, Artist Maybe, and she did a gorgeous even star. I mean, we both were like, we would be mad if we entered into the Race to the Finished Object and I did not get selected if I had finished an even star. So kudos to you, and send me your mailing it. Oh, just kidding. I was totally joking on that one.
We're getting off our game here.
I spaced. Sorry.
So you're going to email me, Artist Maybe. Please email me and let me know that you're aware that you won. I will then let Bags by Awesome Granny know that you won, and she will email you, and you can work out the details of what fabric you would like.
Yes.
Congratulations on your even star. Was beautiful, and I know what a labor of love that is. So, the second prize is a pattern from our featured designer, who is Sarah Berghart Abram, and the
winner of that was number 26, and it's MVA 5493. And she did an April Showers cowl, and it was also gorgeous.
Very beautiful. So please get in contact with me and let me know what pattern from her Ravelry store, which is Sarah Bear Crafts, you would like. It must be a giftable pattern through Ravelry, and I will let Sarah know, and she'll gift you the pattern. So congratulations to both of you, and thank you to everyone who entered. Our September 2015 Race to the Finished Object contest thread is now open. People have been entering all this week. We have 2 wonderful prizes for this month as well. The first prize was given to me at Stitches. It is a front range bag, and she was vending just down the aisle from me and came over and said, "Hey, can I give you a project bag for your podcast as a prize?" And I said, "Absolutely, thank you so much." Love this bag, let me just tell you. While the fabric may not be my first choice, it's going to be somebody's lovely bag because it is super kitschy and cute. But it's very well made. There are pockets on both sides that you could put an iPad, cell phone, keys, your regular living items on the outside. And then it's got a wonderfully well done inside. Let me actually show that to you this time. And then if you notice, there's also little pockets on one side as well that you can put things on. There is also, I mean, this thing is like really cool, guys. There is also a zippered pocket on the inside. But wait, I forgot about this detail she showed me. If you like to do 2 color things or socks 2 at a time, there are also yarn guides on the inside on both sides. So rather than, if you have to do 2 colors and flip your yarns to carry them up the side, all you would have to do is take your bag and turn your bag when you're finished the rows. And I said, but wait, does the yarn guides open? She said, absolutely. They are little claspies that open and then lock, so they won't go anywhere. So this is very well made. Mm-hmm. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Again, this is frontrangebags.etsy.com, and it also will come with her card and a wonderful stitch marker. So thank you so much, and that is Nancy, who is the proprietress of that. So one of you will win one of these just for finishing and getting things off your needles this month. The second prize is a pattern from our featured designer, who is, again, Sarah Berghart Abram. This is her last month being featured, so we are on the lookout. We're scouting out new designers. If you are interested and would like to be a featured designer for Dramatic Knits for anywhere from 1 to 6 months, please get in contact with Callie or myself. You can find Callie as Callisters on Ravelry and myself as Dramatic Knits.
Mm-hmm. I had some exciting news to share. Sorry.
Do I know about this exciting news?
Yes. So I do have my website up and running for Origami Owl. Many of you were interested in it. You have PM'd me, so I appreciate that. If you are interested in shopping through my website, I would be more than happy if you did so. But because of social media guidelines, there is a particular way that I can share that information with you. So if you're interested in knowing what my shop is, then just PM me and I can share my shop with you, the website. It's a really kind of interesting policy. If I find out differently tonight when I go home, then I will be more than happy to put the actual website within a post within our group. It's something about it's just kind of interesting. I have an email to my mentor to see if I'm reading it correctly, because I've read on a couple of boards that you can't do it, and I've also read it in the guidelines. And I said, well, that doesn't really make sense. So
yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So
it's interesting, but it is calliecummings.origamiOwl.com. So I'm going to put that out there. But anyways, so a lot of you kind of asked, what is Origami Owl? So there's a bunch of different ways that you can make your locket. So we have all of these different charms that we have available. In here I have a sunflower, a camera, an airplane, and a stone that says faith. So we've got two really different kinds of lockets. One's called the twist face. So there's a base and then a top face. And so it screws on and off, and you can screw it back on, and you can dump them out and whatever. And then we also have the one that I traditionally wear that's silver. That's an actual locket that just opens and is held by magnets. I will say I've worn these both for a while. This one actually came from my kit that I bought, this locket. And the one that I always wear on the show, I've had for more than a year, and it's never once opened on me, where it has emptied out. So that shows the strength of the magnets on the lockets. I'd be happy to tell you more about it, so I think I will save that and put it in the post on our group page. So if you are looking for more information, I'd be happy to share that with you. And if you do purchase from me, I appreciate it, but don't feel like you're obligated to as well. So it's not everybody's thing.
I think it's super neat and cool. I don't wear jewelry, but one thing I do like, I know at least with my mom, she doesn't, whenever I would try to buy her necklaces or whatnot, she does not like things close to her neck.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a hard time finding chains that are that long.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's...
Yeah.
Do you get a choice in chain length?
Yes. There's a bunch of different chains that we have available. We have them in rose gold, we have them in silver, we have them in gold, and we also have them in black. And there's different looks that you can do too. You can do it shorter. We've got them longer like this. You can add different types of things to it. We've also got lanyards. That's new this year, which is really great for teachers that have to wear the badge all the time. Or like in my town where I work, Bloomington, we have State Farm. State Farm employees have to wear their badge everywhere they go. And so they introduced the lanyard this year, and there was a lot of teachers, a lot of different business folks that were wearing them. And they said one of their concerns is they have to remove their badge to then scan in, or it doesn't have like a retractable thing. So they invented a breakaway part for the lanyard this time, so that way you can just break it off and then, clip it back on. So that's pretty cool. As well as for any nurses or anything.
Well, they do that for safety, though, too, for teachers or nurses or things, because if a student tries to grab your lanyard, we don't wear lanyards at my school, but we had talked about it when we went to a uniform policy. But, if you get in a fight and a student tries to grab your lanyard, it needs to break away. So that's another reason why they have that. But that's interesting.
And then we also just introduced our keychain bag clip. So if lockets or bracelets or anything like that isn't your thing, we also have a keychain. And we just released our collegiate line. So if you went to college that is a predominant college, my college is not represented in the line. We do have a lot of major universities. We're still working on getting all of them. We also just introduced the Greek alphabet to the line, as well as some of our Halloween charms as well. So we've got a lot of new stuff in. So if you've bought from Origami Out before through a different person or just through their website, there's a lot of new stuff coming out, and I'm really excited to see what their Christmas line and Thanksgiving line is going to look like. So there's always something new to check out.
Cool.
And we also just came out with a watch, which is pretty nice too.
Cool.
So, thank you for letting me share.
No problem. I have no problems with you talking up your awesome new adventure on the show. This show is not just about our knitting; it's about our lives and our adventures and things like that. So,
that's true.
I definitely think we should most definitely give updates and new things and give a little bit about things. Every little bit, every so often. So that's it for our regularly scheduled show, but I do have some cool things to talk about in Center Stage. So if you are leaving now, if you're not interested in anything regarding Leading Men Fiber Arts, we will see you next week. But let's move right into Center Stage. So first thing I want to talk about is there have been 2 new patterns released this week, both featuring Leading Men Fiber Arts. The first one was designed by Daniela Richardson, who is one of the hosts of the Caffeinated Knitting podcast, and I love that podcast. I watch it every time it comes out. I don't miss it. It's hosted with Daniela, who is Caffeinated Gert, and Allie, who is Crafty Allie, and they both are part of the hosting team of the Into the Wool retreat that's going on this weekend down in Tennessee, which I wanted to apply to Bend and go to the retreat, but being the first couple weeks of school is just not plausible to take a day or 2 off that soon. So, anyway, Daniela released this pattern for the Into the Wool retreat, and it's called the Looney Hat, and I think it comes with, there's also a cowl, I believe, in this set, but one of the samples she did was out of our DK weight called Dramaturg in the Into the Woods colorway, and this one she knit for her son, and she knew she wanted to use this colorway because they had just gone to see Into the Woods at his school.
Aww.
And so he was a big fan of it and was really excited to hear that there was
a colorway?
the colorway was called Into the Woods. So, oh, maybe it'll come up. There it is. He kind of reminds me of like a young grandpa from Up. He's super adorable though. Those glasses just make him look like that grandpa from Up. I haven't seen that in years. And I only watched it once, but glasses are super cute. And he's a cute kid. Cute hat. Very, very nice. So check that out. I'll link to that in our show notes. The second pattern that was released this week, oops, is the, oh, and I would run away from it. I remembered it. Kiralyn by Delusional Knitter Designs. And she used our callback base, our sport weight, in Metamorphosis to design this hat, which is very beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
It's got a lot going on, but nothing too extravagant, so it'll keep you interested for them, most definitely. I love the way the colors. She knew exactly what she wanted to work with. She contacted us for yarn support, and she was like, I know I want to work with Metamorphosis, and I love the way, especially you can see in the crown, the way the colors worked up.
Mm-hmm.
Focus camera, there we go. So, there's that.
Very generous and gifted it to both of us, so I want to say thank you.
So definitely check out, it's Kiralyn, it's spelled Kyrahlin. It is Gaelic, I believe, she said. I don't know why my internet's being so slow. There we go. One last shot of that hat there. So thank you so much for gifting that to me, and thank you for using Leading Men Fiber Arts. That's awesome. She is going to do a giveaway, so we're going to do a giveaway for this as well. And to enter this giveaway, all I'd like for you to do is to tell me what colorway of Leading Men Fiber Arts you would most want to use for the hat. And we'll draw for that again next week. You must be a member of the group, 1 post per person. So we will have a drawing for 1 free pattern of that. Let me see. She also is giving us a coupon code. Let me see if I can find it here. Yep, good until the end of the month. You can get 50% off the pattern. We're using the coupon code Dramatic Knits. So capital D, capital K, Dramatic Knits. You'll get 50% off the pattern. I believe it's $3, and so you can get it for $1.50 if you use the coupon code Dramatic Knits when you check out. I'm going to verify that right now.
Which is a very generous coupon code.
Yes. Yep, it is $3. So you can get it for $1.50 if you use the coupon code Dramatic Knits until the end of the month. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that is Angela, who is Delusional Knitter. So, all right. Before I show you what we updated to the shop this week, I do want to tell you that we have 2 more shows added to our fall show lineup. Just two this week that we've added. So the month of October is going to be very crazy. We added 2 more shows and that I can tell you about. So right now we have something booked every weekend in October. One has not been finalized yet, so I cannot talk about that. I haven't gotten anything back yet from them verifying. But as you know, and I've mentioned before, we are doing Fiber in the Park in Earlville, Illinois on September 19th. The weekend after that is the big Apple and Pork Festival here in town, so that's kind of a weekend to enjoy, but also is going to be a little bit busy, and we're going to have visitors out of town, but we still do plan on recording that week. The weekend after that is Vogue Knitting Live Chicago, which you knew we were attending and vending at, so that's going to be exciting. We are not taking the trailer. We are going to take 2 cars because driving and parking down there is crazy. Unloading is literally a very small alleyway between a restaurant and the hotel, so trying to get the trailer down there and then trying to get it out and whatnot. So we've already decided that we're going to have to fully set up, and we have to tear everything down from being set up in the trailer and some stuff like that. But the weekend after Vogue, Sunday, October 11th, we will be at the Stash Market, which is in Yorkville, Illinois at the, I just pulled it up, at the Kendall County Fairgrounds in Yorkville, Illinois. It's off of Illinois Route 71. It is the Stash and Scout Market, actually. It's two separate buildings. One's the Stash Market, which is all supplies for handcrafting or buying handcrafted goods. The other building is a flea market. So it sounds really interesting. They've had it going on all summer. They had one in June, but it was too close around ZK for us to go. They had one in August, but it was the same weekend as Stitches. But the third one they're doing and the last one this summer is in October 11th, and we can make that. So we are going there. We're really excited. We have a double booth there, so it'll be our first time expanding into a 10 by 20 space. So if you're up in the area, I think it's very north central Illinois, somewhere around there. So I'll find out closer to the date. So if you're in the area, come see us at Stash Market. We're really excited about that. The following weekend is the show I can't talk about yet, but it's in central Illinois. And then the final weekend in October, the 24th and 25th, we just added Fiber Expo, which is up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which is a haul for us. It is about just over 6 hours from central Illinois, but Andy and I debated, and we bought the truck and trailer so that we can do more shows. So we need to do more shows. And Andy did actually accept the new position in his job, which I hadn't been really talking about until everything was finalized. But he will not be moving over to that position until, I think, the beginning of October. He's hoping by, the start of October so that things will work out with Vogue. But basically, what I did not tell you guys is that he actually had to apply an interview for a demotion in his job. But with this demotion, he will be stepping down as a manager so that he can actually work like a 6 to 3:30 Monday through Friday. So he'll actually have his nights off with me, which will be nice, and he'll have all of his weekends off. So he can do more shows with me and not have to use up all of his vacation time to attend shows, because the past 2 years he's had, maybe 5 vacation days left to do things, and that's rough to try to do a travel vacation within 5 days. So, we made New York work, but it'd just be nice to be able to do more shows and not have it eat into his vacation. So we'll be at Fiber Expo in Ann Arbor, Michigan. If you're up in that neck of the woods, we'll see you there. We're excited. So, I know they do a spring and fall show, so we'll see about the spring. Alright, so what have I updated this week? I've updated some things. I have. It's true. I've been talking a lot. Ugh.
While you're sipping on, I did want to share that a friend of mine, his younger brother, they are having Cirque du Soleil auditions in Florida, and he auditioned yesterday and he got a call back today. So we're fingers crossed that it's very likely that he can be, made into semifinals or finals for the auditions, because he is really great. He's won a lot of different junior titles and national titles, and so fingers crossed that he gets it, because I would be so ecstatic if he did, because it's really what he wants to do. He's in Gamma Phi Circus, which is a circus that is associated with ISU here in Illinois, so it's pretty cool to see him make his dreams happen.
Alright, what did we update this week? First off, let me show you the bags we added to the shop. Most of these have I'm showing you just the medium, but there's also extra larges in most of these. The first one, I really want to steal one of these, and I still have not, because Andy would kill me. But these are neckties. Love this one. I do have to tell you, I did put up some sexy campers. You've seen that fabric before, maybe. We've had it before, and they both sold out. So, but I love the neckties. I want this hardcore. Anyway, then we have some movie tickets. I was kind of going with the theater movie theme, Leading Men. So movie tickets. We have some fun spaceships in blue. And love the teal and orange and black. a little more retro. So those are what's been added in terms of bags. We did have 2 gradient sets go up. One already sold out. Thank you very much. This one is close to selling out. There's only a few left of these. This is the Evil Queen gradient, and this is a new purple that we added for Stitches. We got the dyes in the week before Stitches, and we have not dyed it up on a whole lot, but it's a lovely new purple. So of course it goes from the light, there we go, all the way over to the dark. So this is on our Soliloquy base, which is 100% Superwash BFL. You get 650 yards total. Each mini skein is 130 yards each. These retail for $40. Some fiber we updated. I forgot again to bring up the September colorway of the month, which we do have pre-orders up. Thank you so much to everyone who's already pre-ordered. All pre-orders will be shipping out on Tuesday. We are caught up. So the pre-orders slots are still available through the 8th, which is Tuesday. The morning of the 9th, I will close pre-orders. And the colorway is called Kaleidoscope, which I love. But Andy did some up on Super Sock, which I kind of love how it came out on the fiber. It is just beautiful. Again, you're not going to get these sharp of colors once you draft it, and it's going to muddy up a little bit. But I'd love to see how this knits up. So this is 6 ounces of superwash wool, 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon, in the Kaleidoscope colorway, and you get a full 6 ounces. And Super Sock retails for $32. It's a little bit more. It's a premium blend, and you're paying for 6 rather than 4 ounces. Also updated to the shop on Superwash Merino, we have 4 ounces of London Fog. So we're starting to do some semi-solids up on fiber as well. They haven't been as big of hits in the past, but I think it's important that somebody offers solid fibers for people to spin up. And there are, you can even see with the gray, there's subtlety there that still is very visually appealing in handspun. Alright, yarn. First on Showcase, which is 100% Superwash Merino, 490 yards of a light fingering weight. We have Into the Woods. On Soliloquy, we have a couple skeins of Perfection. On Showcase, we have Blue Steel. On Showcase, we have 1 lonely skein of Fright Night. Halloween's around the corner, y'all. On Dramaturg, our DK weight, we have some Seaweed. Showstopper, we have 1 lonely skein of Foliage. Showstopper as well, we have 1 lonely skein. These are leftovers from a wholesale order that we filled this week. You Betcha. And then on Box Office, we have a new red called Cherry Pie. This was one of those new ones for Stitches as well. So my next gradient that will be coming out, updating probably tomorrow night, is a Cherry Pie gradient. It's true. And I did dye up a Perfection gradient yesterday, so that'll be updating soon. Annie and I are still toying with the opinion of whether to keep updating things like the specialty items to the shop. We said we were going to save them for shows, but we're scheduling so many shows that it's kind of like, meh, what's the point? But also, we put things up, our specialty items, and because they're specialty, people are like, ooh, and then they nab them, and then we don't have them for shows. So it's kind of, it's catch-22. It's a good problem to have, but it's catch-22. So anyway, thank you for joining us this week. We hope you enjoyed the show. Callie's getting totally glared out over there. She is like,
hello.
Ooh. So yeah. Again, October is going to be kind of crazy with recording. Just bear with us. We will record when we can. It may be on, off. I don't know. The 2 middle weeks are single-day shows, so we should be able to work around that. But there may be some off weeks in October. Again, it's part of the sacrifices of doing shows in the business and whatnot. So, Anyway, you can find us on the blog, which is dramaticnotes.com, where you can view the show there and see all the show notes. You can also view us and subscribe to us through iTunes. If you watch through there, please leave a star rating or a full written review. We'd greatly appreciate it. You can also watch and subscribe to us via YouTube. Feel free to leave comments and click the subscribe button. We'd love to see those subscribe numbers go up. And I think that's pretty much it. Again, you can find me as Dramatic Knits on Ravelry, Leading Men Fiber Arts on Instagram. I kind of veered away from Plurk this week. I just decided I was kind of done with that. Don't really do Twitter. However, you can find me as Mr. Dramatic 1064 over there. But everything from Plurk linked over, so don't worry about Twitter because I don't do Plurk anymore. So Instagram and Ravelry are the best places to find me. You can join the Facebook group for Leading Men Fiber Arts and the Ravelry group for Leading Men Fiber Arts. Come on over and join the Ravelry group for Dramatic Knits. Check, are you there? Because you need to be. Especially with these knit-alongs, a great idea. We have some great chatter going on over there, and people being so supportive of each other. It brought a smile to my face this morning.
So real. You can find me on social media as Calsters on Ravelry and Twitter. I have been pretty snarky with my Big Brother feedback, so if you enjoy that, you can check me out there. I am Calsters88 on Instagram, which I've kind of taken a few backseat weeks where I haven't posted pretty regularly. Doesn't mean that I don't check it. It's just been...
Which is funny, because she's the one who twisted my arm to get me onto Instagram, and now I'm like, Instagram all the way, love it, love it, love it, love it. And now there's this new Periscope thing. I don't know if you've heard about this. I haven't even looked into it, but I'm like, I don't need another social media. And then, in like 6 months, everyone's going to be on Periscope, and then I'll be like, oh, I got to be on Periscope. I don't know. But anyway.
I don't know, I'm pretty set with Instagram, and I'm pretty happy with it, so... I just been really busy that I figure there's nothing that you really all want to see.
I want to see pictures of you being busy because I don't believe you. Make it happen this week. All right. Until next week.
We hope you
knit something. It's dramatic.